Hello everyone, welcome to English for Citizenship, brought to you by the Springvale Learning and Activity Centre. English for Citizenship. If you remember from last lesson, we learnt about people who are Indigenous Australians. They were the only people living in Australia at first. They were the first people to be living in Australia, Indigenous Australians. Here is a sentence to read. The first Europeans to arrive in Australia were from Great Britain. The first Europeans to arrive in Australia were from Great Britain. So here is the continent of Europe and the country of Great Britain. Here is their flag, the Union Jack. Here is a larger picture of Great Britain. Here is the country of Great Britain. So the first people to arrive in Australia from Europe were from Great Britain. So Europe is a continent. Continent. Arrive means to come to a place. The first Europeans to arrive or come to Australia were from Great Britain. Came to Australia. Great Britain is a country. A country. Australia is a country. Country. The first Europeans to arrive in Australia were from Great Britain. So here is our next slide with a question. Why did they come to Australia? Why did the people from Great Britain come to Australia? Here is a picture of a jail or a prison. This sentence says the British jails, like this one, could not hold the large number of people. There were too many people in prison. Laws were harsh or hard when people were in prison or jail for small crimes. There were too many people. See the people behind the bars? Crowded. So the British government decided to send convicts or prisoners to the new colony of New South Wales. This word here is convicts. The British government decided to send the convicts or prisoners to the new colony of New South Wales in Australia. Colony means a new place to live, ruled by another country. So here are new words: convicts, which are the prisoners, the people in jail, and colony, new town or place to live. Let's read this. The British government decided to send convicts or prisoners to the new colony of New South Wales. Here is a picture of a convict. So there were too many prisoners or convicts in Great Britain. So they put the convicts on 11 ships. Here's a picture of the 11 ships. This is called the First Fleet. Fleet is a group of boats. They sent the prisoners to Australia. So this sentence says, on the 26th of January, that's the month of January, in the year 1788, the first fleet of 11 ships, here they are, the first fleet of 11 ships arrived from Great Britain to form a new settlement in New South Wales. So remember, the first fleet is a group of boats or ships, 11 ships. And a colony is a new place to live, ruled by others. So this is the date that the ships arrived, the 26th of January, 1788. There's a picture of the first fleet, 11 ships that arrived in a new colony of New South Wales with many convicts on board the ships. Here is a picture of the route of the first fleet. That means the way they went on their journey. Here is Great Britain. They left Great Britain on their 11 ships. The first fleet sailed down to South America, Africa, and then on to New South Wales in Australia. Sydney Cove. They arrived here on the 26th of January 1788. This is the route of the first fleet. This sentence to read. This is the route that the 11 ships of the first fleet took. The way they went. There are some new words. Settlement. Settlement is a new place to live. Route is a journey of a way, the way they went. Here is a painting which shows the arrival of the first fleet in Sydney. You remember the date? The first fleet arrived on the 26th of January, 1788. The first fleet arrived on the 26th of January, 1788. To the new colony of New South Wales. So here's a date that you need to remember, 1788, the first fleet. Here is a map of New South Wales today. The ships came around and landed here in New South Wales. New South Wales. Okay, let's do some practice test questions. See how you go with the answers. Number 1. Which colony in Australia was decided by the British government to be the place for housing convicts? So this question is asking which colony, so which place, new place in Australia was decided or chosen by the British government to be the place to send the convicts to. Where did they send them to live? Was it A, New South Wales, B, Victoria, C, Queensland, or D, Western Australia? Which colony was decided by the British government to be the place to send the convicts? It was New South Wales. New South Wales is the right answer for that question. Number 2. In which month of the year 1788 did the first fleet from Great Britain arrive in Australia? In which month of the year 1788 did the first fleet from Great Britain arrive is come to, in Australia? Which month? Is it A, January, B, February, C, March, D, April? Did you remember? January the 26th, 1788. The first fleet arrived in Australia. Let's try number 3. What is the reason of the first fleet's arrival from Great Britain in the year 1788? What is the reason? That means why did they send the first fleet from Great Britain? Why did the first fleet of ships come to Australia? Was it A, to learn about cultural differences, B, to mine or dig for iron ore, or C, to set up a settlement of convicts for the British government? This one is the right answer. The reason the first fleet came was to set up a settlement of convicts for the British government. Number 4. Here is my spelling mistakes. Number 4. Why did the British send their convicts to Australia? So this is asking you, why were the convicts sent to Australia? Why did they come? A, they wanted to give them a new life. B, they wanted to give them an adventure. Or C, they couldn't hold the large number of people in their jails. Which one is the right answer? Why did they send their convicts to Australia? because they couldn't hold the large number of people in their jails. There were too many people. So they sent, let's go to the map, they sent 11 ships on the first fleet around this route to the new colony of New South Wales. And this is the date that they arrived, 26th of January 1788, called the First Fleet. They arrived in New South Wales. Well done. Thanks for listening. See you next time.